Tonight on CFTK-TV News, Premier David Eby weighs in on Ksailism's LNG. New data highlights the cost of living crisis. And part 3 of our series on homelessness action in the region.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. I'm Jaylene Matthews. British Columbia Premier David Eby says his government is counting on the Nisga'a First Nation to help increase the level of support among other nations that are opposed to the massive liquefied natural gas export facility soon to float off the northwestern coast. Both the provincial and federal government have signed off on the facility that is on agreement with the Nisga'a, Rockies LNG Limited Partnership, and Western LNG, despite some significant opposition. Eby touted the project at a press conference yesterday.
Ksailism shows us what the future looks like. This project will create 800 jobs during construction, more than 200 jobs ongoing at the site, $17 billion in contribution to the Canadian economy over the lifetime of the project. It will help young people build a future in the Northwest. It creates education, training, and other opportunities that wouldn't exist in the absence of this project.
Eby said he has great faith in the Nisga'a and its president Eva Clayton to deliver that support through an open spirit of engagement with the other First Nations, adding that the project was designed to minimize environmental impacts. And here's the announcement from the Energy Minister on the topic in the House of Commons.
I'm here to announce some good news. Last night, Canada and British Columbia approved the new Ksailism LNG export terminal in northern British Columbia. It's with the Nisga'a Nation. It will be the second largest private sector investment in the history of this country. The second largest in the history of this country. It will employ thousands of Canadians.
Premier Eby traveled to Ottawa today to meet with Prime Minister Mark Carney in an effort to drum up more funding for the province. The Premier's office says Eby will be in Ottawa until tomorrow, where he is expected to talk to the federal government about additional projects that may qualify for the next round of funding for nation-building items. 2 of the 5 projects already identified last week are located in BC, including the second phase of the LNG Canada project. Eby's office says the Premier will be talking to Carney and others on the next steps to secure funding for those projects to move forwards, as well as BC's economic priorities, as the province faces a record multi-billion-dollar deficit. The issue of homelessness continues to spark conversation as local organizations in Terrace are preparing to meet. CFTK-TV's Helen Asante shares more.
In the 1930s, they put money for the first time towards housing, and it was both to ease shortages and to promote job promotion. And then during the Second World War, they helped build new housing and repair housing for the returning vets. In the 70s and 80s, there was all kinds of different targets. So it was middle income buyers, it was low rental, low income renters. It was all kinds of different experiments, and many hundreds of thousands of homes were built in those decades. And then in 1989, they start reducing. In 1995, they stopped contributing to housing programs.
There is a lot of burden placed on organizations like HSABC, Kermode, Kisan, other folks locally in the north. And well, what are you doing to solve homelessness? Well, it's not just us, it's something that we have to do together. And it requires commitment, it requires consistency, and it requires funding and changes to law. The question I often ask people is, how far away are you from not having adequate housing, right? It's a lot closer than you think. And so I think the call to action really is, instead of complaining about, visibly unhoused folks, we should be complaining to the people who have the power to make the change.
So you have these brand new buildings being built, They have the prices high because we now have the school district, we have Northern Health, who are advertising to rent houses, buy houses, looking for housing for doctors, looking for housing for teachers. So that's who I feel is being targeted now for the higher rates in rent.
As conversation continues, Jamie points that support can be one size fits all.
They need to take a look at us as individual communities. Not all communities are the same. Not all communities have the same resources or assets. So where we're lacking, you go to a bigger city, I mean, there's more options. So we can't just generalize us as a whole. We need to take a little deeper look and look at individual communities, where they're at, meet them there.
Sarah says she's eager to visit Terrace.
It's a real privilege for HSABC to come, and I'm really looking forward to being there. It is public registration. We do have some spots left. It's going to be a really amazing day. We have some incredible elders spending the day with us. We have the mobile response team provincially. We have lots of support. There's going to be incredible food by K5T and their training skills program. So Indigenous-led menu looks delicious. And it's going to be a good day of just connecting with one another.
Helena Santos, CFTK-TV News, Terrace.
The event takes place September 25th at the Terrace Sportsplex Banquet Room. Coming up next, food inflation and soaring beef prices. BC government workers are stepping up job action with efforts targeting the mining sector. This group has been marching in Terrace in support of their union. The BC General Employees Union and Professional Employees Association said staff in mineral and mines offices in Vancouver and Cranbrook are joining the picket lines as strike action has entered into its third week. The move comes as the province was getting set to fast-track several projects in the mining sector, which the union says won't be able to go ahead without public service workers. The escalation in job action will put 8,500 public service workers on picket lines as the union asks for an 8.25% wage increase over 2 years. BC needs to balance a budget, but the evidence suggests that may be a bit of a joke. CTV's Robert Buffum explains.
With the NDP projecting a record and growing deficit of $11.6 billion, the opposition say the government is tone deaf in its spending choices.
At a time that we're supposed to be having a hiring freeze, at a time that we're supposed to be seeing potential cutbacks to the workforce, the Premier's office, as long as it suits the Premier's need, seems to spend money.
The NDP says it's taking steps to tighten its financial belt. It's reduced the public service by 850 staff, and more cuts are likely coming. But the opposition, BC Conservatives, discovered the government has hired a stand-up comedian, Charles Demers, to help the Premier write speeches. He makes $165 an hour, and his contract allows him potentially to make a maximum of $300,000 over 4 years.
Well, there's nothing funny about it, and it's the ultimate David Eby Friends and Insiders move again.
The Premier's office alone currently has 6 communication staff on salary. It acknowledges Demers has been paid nearly $100,000 in the past 3 years. Today, Eby defended the spending, noting Demers has only been paid $14,000 so far this year.
Today, for example, I'm delivering 5 speeches. I would love to be able to write my own speeches the way that I used to, but I do need support to be able to respond to each event.
Anytime a politician starts trying to justify the spending by saying only as a qualifier, they got caught out.
Demers himself responded to the controversy online, noting he doesn't just write jokes for Eby, and this isn't the first Premier who's hired him.
David Eby's not the first Premier of British Columbia that I've written for. I wrote for John Horgan, although for John Horgan, I did only write jokes.
The controversy comes as government workers continue to strike seeking higher wages, and questions swirl about when the NDP plans to balance the budget, a source of concern from the business community.
Government kind of is saying on the one hand, we're going to balance the budget, but then the numbers tell a different story. And the different story is higher spending as far as the eye can see.
Robert Buffum, CTV News, Victoria.
New cost of living data highlights the state of the country's economy. While inflation rose last month, the increase was far below what economists had predicted. But as CTV's Kathy Lee reports, food inflation continues to outpace overall inflation, leaving Canadians feeling the pinch at the checkout.
Once a staple for family meals, these cuts of beef now luxury items.
I've definitely seen an increase in price, especially beef.
The meats are gone up. You can hardly afford to buy anything other than probably hamburgers or chicken. Even hamburgers getting more expensive.
Stats Canada data shows food prices rose 3.4% from a year earlier. And while the price of fruits and veggies are down, the cost of meat surged by 7.2%, including a 12.7% spike for fresh or frozen beef. Consumers aren't just the ones feeling the sticker shock, so are businesses like the Ribeye Butcher Shop.
It really was a shock to the system that not only we had to absorb, but the customers had to absorb as well.
Experts say rising beef prices trace back to dry weather in the U.S. Midwest and Western Canada a few years ago. The feed shortage forced farmers to shrink their herds, driving up costs.
There are fewer cows, and cows are really the factory of the beef industry. We have to rebuild our beef herd.
The cost of beef and other groceries, a key piece of the inflation puzzle. Stats Canada shows the country's inflation rate rose to 1.9% last month, mostly due to lower gas prices.
The economy has been slowing down in Canada, primarily owing to the trade war with the U.S. and with the fact that inflation seems to have stabilized.
The inflation rate came in just shy of the 2% increase economists had expected, setting the stage for an anticipated interest rate cut by the Bank of Canada.
Next, let's take a look at your Northwest weather report. Tonight on the North Coast, expect conditions to be mainly cloudy with a 60% chance of showers early this evening. Winds from the southeast at 20 kilometers an hour, a low of 11 degrees. Over the next few days on the North Coast, expect rain and showers to continue through the week and weekend. Daily highs 12 to 15 degrees, overnight lows at 10 to 14 degrees. Tonight in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect showers ending late this evening, then cloudy. Winds from the south at 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40, becoming light overnight, a low of 9 degrees. Over the next few days in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow, then rain from Friday on. Daily highs from 11 to 18 degrees, overnight lows from 9 to 11 degrees. Tonight in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, expect fog patches developing overnight. Winds from the southwest at 20 kilometers an hour, becoming light this evening. A low of 0 with frost in low-lying areas. Over the next few days in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, expect a sunny Thursday before the rain comes in for a while. Daily highs from 12 to 18 degrees, overnight lows from 5 to 11 degrees. Checking your highways around the Northwest now. On Highway 16, the Cops for Cancer Tour de North is going on. Watch for traffic personnel. Construction in Prince Rupert with a detour in effect. Ditching, bridge maintenance, road maintenance, utility work, construction work, and paving operations all underway. On Highway 37, watch for construction work and bridge construction. Highway 37A, bridge maintenance and a section with falling rocks. On the Niska Highway, there's mowing going on. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come, Trump talks trade in the UK. A senior that was the victim of a hit and run has also found herself without mobility due to the circumstances. CTV's Vanessa Maragos reports.
A hit and run.
Yeah, it was scary.
Caught on camera.
And then he just kept on going.
In early August, Beverly Tershman was struck by an oncoming red car at the intersection of 203rd Street and 56th Avenue in Langley.
I fell down, the scooter fell on top of my leg, and I just was shocked.
She says her injuries weren't life-threatening.
Just because it turned out to be lucky doesn't mean that it didn't affect you and didn't hurt you.
Langley RCMP say they canvassed the area but have not been able to identify the vehicle. Despite several cameras at the intersection, Mounties say they are only live feed and do not record. 6 weeks later, Tershman still feels frustration towards the driver.
I want to know what made him think that my life was worth nothing.
And adds she didn't know things could get worse until she filed a claim with ICBC.
Basically told me that I wasn't covered, that there wouldn't be anything. I'm covered for the injuries, but not covered for the scooter.
Tershman says due to her fibromyalgia and other medical issues, she relies on it to be independent.
It's just stressful knowing that you can't go out.
For more than a month, she's been stuck at home. Describing herself as low income, she used her savings to buy a new scooter.
I was mad. I got very little money in my savings account, and that would take everything out of it.
Paying close to $4,000 out of pocket. We reached out to Scooter City, responsible for the repairs of Tershman's original scooter. They say they never received clarity from ICBC on covering the costs until today, when CTV began investigating.
Unfortunately, here an error was made.
ICBC says initially Tershman was told she needed to pay a deductible.
In this case, we fell a bit short because an error was made, an error that we apologize for.
The insurer focused on providing Tershman with the physical care she needs, including...
We are going to take care of the scooter for her to get her back to getting around the way that she needs to.
Tershman says she doesn't think there would have been a resolution if CTV hadn't intervened.
Thank you very much.
This ending makes her feel...
well, a lot happier. A big weight has been lifted.
Again, Langley RCMP says that they have not been able to identify the red vehicle. They're asking that if anyone have any helpful information in this case, they reach out to the Langley RCMP. Demetri Marigo, CTV News, Langley.
U.S. President Donald Trump is in the UK to talk trade, technology, and tariffs. CTV's Nicole D'Antonio reports.
This morning, President Trump and the First Lady arriving in the UK for what's expected to be 2 full days of British pomp and circumstance. The president's visit includes horse-drawn carriages, military guards, and a banquet inside the 1,000-year-old Windsor Castle. Trump sharing what he hopes to achieve.
They want to see if they can refine the trade deal a little bit. We made a deal, and it's a great deal, and I'm into helping them.
While in the UK, President Trump also meeting with Prime Minister Starmer, where the two are expected to sign a multi-billion-dollar technology deal. Also on the agenda, continued U.S. support for the Ukraine war and economic ties as the UK continues to grapple with President Trump's tariffs. Ahead of the visit, police have been monitoring online traffic and reviewing any possible security threats following the shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
So a review of the routes being taken, the premises, the residents they're staying at, looking at any buildings that overlook those areas, line of sight, etc. So any possible threat to the principals, the president, his wife, the king, the queen, the prince, princess of Wales, everybody.
The state visit not without controversy. Protesters are rallying outside Windsor Castle and across the UK. Overnight, protesters projected large pictures and videos of President Trump and Prince Andrew with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on the walls of Windsor Castle.
His actions and his inactions are causing instability in the world. He could have stopped the war in Ukraine. He could stop the war in Gaza if he wanted to. I don't understand why he doesn't want to. He's the most dangerous man in the world.
The Royals also hosted the last 4 U.S. presidents, although not all were the full-scale state visits. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Turning to the markets now, Canada's main stock index finished narrowly in positive territory, while U.S. markets were mixed after central banks on both sides of the border cut interest rates. The Canadian dollar fell slightly. The price of gold dropped $7.30. Oil fell by 46 cents. Natural gas dropped 3 cents. Aluminum rose by $43. In Toronto, the TSX was up 6 points. The Venture Index was down 1 point. In New York, the Nasdaq was down almost 73 points, and the Dow gained 260 points. Still ahead, a new campus dedicated to a BC leader. The Prince Rupert Port Authority have shared their traffic report for August 2025. The amount of foreign cargo that passed through the port totaled in at a bit over 2 million tons, a number that was 18% higher than what August was able to bring in 2024. Both Fairview and Trigon Pacific saw substantial 40% increases from August 2024, while the Prince Rupert Grain and Harbour dropped by over 50%. Domestic passenger numbers did go up from last year too, but only by 176 people. A new campus has opened on Vancouver Island that will train a variety of vocations and pays tribute to a late and great BC leader. CTV's Brendan Strain reports.
There we go. With the cutting of a special cedar ribbon, the John Horgan campus in the heart of downtown Langford has officially opened.
The opportunities that are going to be here for people moving forward will help continue to build this province.
It's a collaborative school made up of 5 different institutions.
This is, as I've talked about a number of times, a first of its kind in Canada.
Royal Roads University, the University of Victoria, Camosun College, the Justice Institute of British Columbia, as well as the Sault School District.
This is the Fast Forward to Graduation program.
Offered by the Sault School District from the John Horgan campus. What it is a full-time, 5-month program designed for young adults over the age of 18 who are yet to complete graduation to gain enough credits to attain an adult dogwood diploma.
So there was a time when this program was thriving in Sault School District, and that was a little over a decade ago when some of our increases in enrollment and pressures started within the district around that time.
Ultimately, a lack of space in the district led to the program being closed down. Now this campus has allowed the program to resume.
Because I just want to get it over with and graduate so I can move to the next step of my life.
I want to be able to start my post-secondary sooner rather than later.
But I'm hoping to go into like 911 dispatch and stuff like that and help people. So I need a diploma for that.
You can just slip it in probably.
The Justice Institute of BC now calls this campus its home on southern Vancouver Island, training the next generation of first responders.
We're really the folks who help BC residents through challenging times.
From paramedics to firefighters to municipal police officers, 150 will be trained here every year.
This is a long time coming. It's a dream come true.
Royal Roads, UVic, and Camosun have begun running classes as well, and are hoping to expand their offerings in the future. The ceremony today was capped by Ellie Horgan, unveiling a plaque celebrating the life of her husband, the man who turned this campus into a reality on the West Shore. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Langford.
That's our news for now. For more local news, you can visit us at CFTK-TV.com. All of our newscasts and stories also go up on our YouTube and TikTok pages, so make sure to subscribe to us there. Thanks for watching and enjoy your evening.